This week, Skull and Bones goes to JV Jones's locker. Microsoft crushes their developer direct, and Marvel Avengers is put out to pasture. This is the NerdCave News, and I am one of your hosts, Zach Dykes, joined along with a long time ago in a far-off kingdom of Forenzia. An evil witch threatened to curse. Only one brave warrior can defeat this evil. See the story unfold in Disney's new princess film, Delphina, Warrior Princess. Delphina, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. I almost think of it brings to mind Red Sonja, you know, except a little bit more kid friendly. You know, but yeah, okay, it's not better. And see, guys, if you weren't here 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. We're gonna make good on a thing that, you know, from last season, that I'm gonna actually create a doc. Like, you can't see it, but we'll go over it at the end of the year. But we're gonna be I'm gonna be actually going through and ranking the names Zach gives me. So right now we have Monsieur Jean-Jacques de Gateau at number 1, and it's going to stay at number 1.
Oh, okay.
Delphina will be number 2.
Okay.
So,
see, like, I think you're like, I know you're not going to put all the exposition and everything.
No.
But the expositions on this one's pretty good.
No, the exposition is good.
I think
I also got to stick the landing.
I think I delivered it pretty well.
No, you delivered the exposition pretty well, but you know, you got to stick the landing with the name. The name's got to mesh with the epic, you know, exposition. And if it doesn't, it's like Disney Plus. It's like the Disney Plus Marvel shows, except for a few of them where it's like starts great and then by the last episode falls flat on its face.
Wow, you're saying that about Amy's name? Ooh boy, you just wait till next week when you're Poops McGee or something like that.
Listen. Amy knows that not everything can be bangers. Mm-hmm. She hits it out of the park 98% of the time. Mm-hmm. So. Look,
he's saying this stinks, baby. I'm just.
Oh my
gosh! It ain't me.
Oh
and guys,
my gosh, Amy, do not let him.
If you want,
your inner princess.
If you want to submit your own name, the link is down in the description below. Submit your Derek name. See if you can reign supreme. How long are you going to reign supreme? Because Amy's got 2. She's in the top 2 right now.
Exactly.
So. Can you get a name?
I'm pretty sure if I did a ranking last year, she'd probably dominate at least the top 20.
Dude, she would dominate like the top 40.
Probably. Exactly. You know, definitely.
The top 40. But guys, this is the NerdCave News, where each and every week we run you through all the video game news that you need to know. You can watch us live over on youtube.com/NerdCave Network on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central Time. Don't miss out on all the shenanigans before the show, because once it's done, you'll never see it again. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. And there is a podcast version of the show that's available on Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, and Anchor. Go subscribe and listen to it each and every week. While you're there, leave us a 5-star review, and it's back up, baby. This podcast is live.
It rose from the grave.
It did. I looked and I was like, it was September 26th. Since the last episode
I didn't realize it was that long.
I didn't either. I was like, oh, you know, it was like October or whatever, but it was like right before I got my new job and everything.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay, because this episode is brought to you by the Epic Game Store and our wonderful patrons. You can support us by using creator code NerdCave. Why is that so hard? Why is that so hard? Derek wrote this, guys. This is all his fault.
No, I didn't.
You can support us by using creator code NerdCave at checkout in the Epic Store. Even on free games, it helps us out. Get those V-Bucks and those Sony games with our creator code, and you can be epic. You can become part of.
Comes out on PC in a few weeks, so just throwing that out there, guys.
Yeah, you can get that, and I think Forspoken is also on PC right now.
Yes.
But I wouldn't play it.
I'm kind of glad I didn't spend money on that game, but you know, yeah, it is. So
I'm glad we did not put that as our number 1 on top games of January.
I know. We rectified that from December.
Yeah, 100%. But guys, you can become part of the ship, part of the exclusive crew by going over to patreon.com/nerdcave, just like our wonderful crew members. And Derek, I'm going to let you read the words.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah, can you do it? I want to.
Our wonderful crew members. First up, we got the first mate, Brandon Hicks. The helmsman. At helmsman, we got the conductor. Our gunners, we've got Daniel Sanford, Rushing Waters Yoga, Marilyn James, Brittany, the Granny B. Harrison, and our deckhand, Martin Sager.
Good job. Good job. I threw you a curveball there.
Yes, you did.
I was hoping that you would fail, but you rose to the occasion, Delphina.
You know, as a warrior princess should.
You should, yes, you should. And you can rise to the occasion as well. We're going to be at Pizzacon February 24th through the 26th. I'm excited, Derek. I know you're excited. Derek's first con. We're going to be taking everybody's money. We got big trench coats with watches all in it. That's the kind of convention we're going to, the con convention, right?
Yeah, exactly. The convict convention. What? Hold on. And that's not all, guys. We do these shows on Thursdays. And the con starts on Friday, which means your boy, me, has to have a day before to drive down. But so guess what that means? We're going to do the NerdCave that week, the NerdCave news show that week, live from Zach's own room. That's right, guys. He and I going to be in the same room together, which means the moment he speaks out of turn, I get to actually knock some sense into him.
Nah, Derek be too scared to hit me. I'd be turned into like an elder god or something. All my predictive powers. Like you wouldn't even get to like touch me. I'd be like Itachi when Sasuke's like, Chidori, and like running down a hall, and he's just like, like he did. I don't even take my arm out of my coat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't even turn on the old Sharingan on, you know? But guys, we're going to be at Pizzacon the 24th through the 26th of February, and we're going to be going to Five Guys on that Saturday. Stay tuned to the NerdCave News. We're going to announce the time, and we're going to be having an awesome time coming and hanging out with all of you. So come be a part of the meet and greet at Five Guys on Airport Boulevard in Pensacola, Florida. It's going to be fantastic. Come hungry. Come with your wallet full because Five Guys is not cheap. And you know what?
No.
You're going to get to watch. You're going to get to watch Derek buy me Five Guys, and I'm going to make him order for me. I'm going to make him order for me.
No.
Yeah.
I pay. That was not part of it.
Winner takes all.
Yeah, you're going to take all my money. Isn't that enough?
Yeah, I'm going to get a large fry, a large Coke. I'm going to get 12 hamburgers.
Oh my gosh. Just, make them all triple patties or whatever the most patties you can get on there.
Order it with extra cheese, Derek. Don't be doing that. Don't be telling Derek things.
That's a good idea, though. Make the fries cheese as well. Throw some cheese on it.
You know what? I would just go throw them away. So you'd waste all that money, Derek.
I mean, if you order 12 hamburgers, you're going to throw them away anyway. Because you can only eat probably 3 at most.
No. I would give them to the awesome people.
Oh, okay. Okay. So this is what it's like, I'm gonna gain the favor of the people on your dime. Got it. This is some government shadiness if I ever saw so.
Hey, man, I got the favor. And they got the flavor. So guys, we're going to be doing that Five Guys on Saturday, February 25th. We'll let you know the time next week as we nail that all down, but we hope to see you there. And we'll also be having some cool, awesome merch. So check out all that good stuff. Get you some stuff so people know, like, oh, they're with the NerdCave people. What is the NerdCave? What was going on here?
Yeah.
Where did they all come from? They're everywhere. And then people are like all freaking out and everything.
I know. It's like the revolution will not be televised.
Yeah. But that does it for all of our announcement. That does it with all the rigmarole and the housekeeping, as you will.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get into the gaming discussion. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Am I really?
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
Are you really ready? Are you ready?
Are you ready? And the DX theme just plays.
We
Break
also,
it down.
if I can get Five Guys to play just Tarzan while we're there, I would be hilarious. I would love that.
And the whole time you're just like, what is this trash music?
Who is this? Who is this?
That's okay. That's why not put like Tabasco sauce in your burgers.
All right, here we go, guys. Get into the gaming discussion this week. Crystal Dynamics confirms it will end support for Marvel's Avengers this March.
You know, it's almost I don't want to say like finally the ding dong, the witch is dead, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad it's over. To our cherished community, we regret to inform you that come March 31st, all development and updates for Marvel's Avengers will cease. After 2.5 years of introducing Earth's mightiest heroes into the game, we are sad to announce that September 30th marks the end of official support for this beloved title. Mark your calendars, gamers. September 30th is the day that the game will no longer be available for purchase on digital storefronts. But don't worry, you still have plenty of time to grab a copy before then and download it for yourself. And if you end up deleting it from your console after that date, Crystal Dynamics assures us all that we'll be able to re-download our copies should we wish to do so. Fans of Marvel's Avengers rejoice. Crystal Dynamics has assured us that single-player and multiplayer gameplay will remain accessible for the foreseeable future. Additionally, as we approach the game's end date, every item in its digital marketplace is being offered free to all players, a welcome surprise for those who hadn't previously purchased these items with real money. Our marketplace will officially be free of charge come March 31st after the last update takes effect. Not only that, but digital game purchasers before September 30th and physical copy owners afterwards can all access a complimentary version of our world-renowned virtual shopping center. This is your chance to stock up on the best items at no cost. Don't wait until it's too late. When this update hits, whatever credits you have left will be exchanged for in-game resources. Crystal Dynamics created a chart summarizing how much of each resource is equal to the amount of credits that you possess. It's also worth noting that Spider-Man will always stay exclusive to PlayStation since Marvel's Avengers had an inefficient stint and failed to reach its full potential due to its IP restrictions. The most disheartening aspect of this is the praise for the single-player component of the game, which paints a picture of what could have been achieved if more focus had been given to it, instead of attempting to fit Destiny-inspired gameplay into an already existing framework. We are aware that this news is disheartening for all in the Marvel Avengers community who have such a strong bond with our beloved characters and narratives. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being part of this incredible journey. Your enthusiasm and anticipation surrounding Marvel's Avengers, be it your creative photo mode captures, speculation on upcoming heroes, or live streaming via Twitch, has played an integral role in creating this game. We are incredibly thankful for your enthusiasm and commitment to Marvel's Avengers. We hope you continue to have a blast with us, as we could not be more pleased that you chose to join our heroic team.
Big oof.
Yeah.
A lot of that to say, hey, we made a game and people didn't want it.
Exactly. It's like, we appreciate the diehard fans like Greg Miller, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, and like I played Marvel's Avengers. I liked the story mode. The online part of it, god awful, atrocious, not worth ever doing. I'm glad that they are giving everything away for free. That's nice. They should be refunding people money though. You know what I mean? And I also love the hey, you can still buy it, like come and buy it.
Yeah, like we still need to pay off the debts.
But this is my question for you, Derek.
Mm-hmm.
We are seeing another big game, like this game was huge, coming out and everything, getting pulled off digital storefronts. No more physical copies being made. And I'm sure we could get a physical copy pretty easy because it's mass produced. But is that concerning where any game could be delisted and not be available? Support not be there, servers going down and all that, and you can't play like that. I know a lot of people that it concerns me, because we've seen that this is not the first game. Ubisoft did a bunch of this recently in the last year where they turned off servers for games and everything. Is that something we should be concerned with moving forward, to where we're more digital reliant than we are physical reliant on our game copies?
Well, and it's like it's been that argument, digital versus physical that's been the big crux of theirs is like, oh well once it's gone, you can't ever get it again, and it's like, okay, yes, now Marvel's Avengers I would say this is the exception to the rule, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where granted, now had it been just like a new IP with like some of the similar mechanics, like say it was like create your own superhero. Just imagine if like obviously it's not it, but just like say something with like was akin to Infamous, right? Where it was like Infamous, but with the mechanics of this game, where it was like live service, create your own hero type thing. That could probably thrive more because we see like DC Heroes Online still thrives. Now, granted, it's an MMO rather than a live service game, but it's kind of have some similarities to it. I mean, and my argument has always been like, yeah, after a while, like eventually, like Titanfall 2 servers are going to go offline, right? Like eventually, like Halo Infinite servers are going to go offline, but that could be a decade, 2 decades from now. So, like, yes,
I don't think it's necessarily servers. Like, I know that's part of this, but like where they're taking it completely off of storefronts, where like let's think of IP, like the Silent Hill demo and everything. People literally have their like PlayStations where it's downloaded and they won't delete it because they can't get it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, no, that in itself, because I mean that was because people made bad business deals.
But
yeah,
I'm saying,
like okay, and again, I would still consider that exception to the rule, because here's my thing. Like after a while, now, yes, if it becomes more recent, like a game that's been out for only like less than half a decade, then I will tell you I'm concerned. But if it's like smaller indie games, like throwaway games, or games that are like a decade plus old, like that haven't been up to, like if Destiny were to shut down like tomorrow, I'd be concerned because that's an ongoing game that's proven that its formula works, that people are still interested, that then they just took it off storefronts, that's like that you can't get it anymore. But if it's like if a game's been out there in the ethos for like 15, 20 years, you're either going to play it or you're not. You're going to buy it and put your money where your mouth is, or you're not. That's
I'm going to throw it one more, and we're going to move on here in a second. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Platinum's game.
Yeah.
Like 6 months after its release, like it was a pretty good game. It wasn't great off digital stores.
Yeah. Yeah. Again,
it concerns me. Like it's like we don't own the games that we buy.
Yeah.
That's my biggest concern here.
Yeah. But that's the crux of like owning anything digital, right? It's the same thing with movies. This whole streaming war. Like if Disney Plus were to shut down tomorrow, we have no way of watching Mandalorian. We have no way of watching the next big Marvel TV show or whatever, So or
do
Netflix.
we?
Now
or do we? Or do we?
Netflix is a difference because they actually put their stuff on like DVD Blu-ray like a couple months after the show. But not everyone does that. I don't know, like it's a crux with everything. Like there's also good and bad with everything, right? Like you could have physical, but then if your machine that you're watching or playing on goes obsolete, how are you going to get another one? But now with games, with online, it's different. Obviously, there's different rules and ramifications for it. But like single player games, right? Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you could still find physical copies out in the wild.
Yeah.
So there's ways around it, and then plus, who's to say that with the way remasters and remakes are running rampant throughout the games industry nowadays, that in about another 5-10 years it won't get remastered.
True. Nate says anything is possible with a record button.
That's also true.
And that pirating, not a legal thing. I do not suggest it.
Yeah.
And that's why it brings me to number 2, Skull and Bones. No longer available for pre-order. Existing pre-orders refunded. And Derek, this is 2 for 2. And we're gonna get the next story. Like goes with my other prediction from the end of the year.
Okay.
Man, I'm crushing it. I'm just saying, I'm crushing it with the predictions over here.
This is why I don't bet you anymore.
So let's talk about all this Skull and Bones nonsense?
Ubisoft has recently decided to pull Skull and Bones from sales across all platforms, with the exception, with the exception of PC, where it is still possible to pre-order. Unfortunately for PlayStation players, they are only able to add this game as a wishlist item at this point in time. The news was first made known by PS Lifestyle after users on Reddit and Twitter reported that their pre-order purchase of Skull and Bones had been refunded without any prior notification or explanation from Ubisoft themselves. Perhaps even more peculiar than withdrawing the game altogether is Ubisoft's decision to silently repay its customers without so much as an indication that such refunds would be coming through, leaving many wondering what exactly triggered such an unexpected move. Now,
Because they're going to axe this game.
maybe, because what game? Oh my gosh, what game was it? Was it Cyberpunk? It was a game that had been in development and they just kept delaying it, and then they said, we're taking it off storefronts until we have a solid release date. It wasn't Cyberpunk because it was the bug fixes that they took the digital version off the PlayStation Store for a while. But it was another game that hadn't come out yet that had been delayed so much that they said, we're just taking it off for a while until we can actually commit to a date and have you pre-order it. But I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that this is probably going to be the first indication that the axe, the coffin is coming. Davy Jones is coming for it sooner rather than later. But this could just be them saying, like, you know what? People keep getting upset that we keep delaying it after we, especially after this most recent delay from October to March November to March, that they said, all right, we're going to stick to the date, and they didn't. So I think until they're ready to actually put out a release date and stick to it, they're going to just take it off the store page.
Davy Jones' ship comes up and you hear the clunk, clunk, and he's like coming up to Gives him all. He's like, do you fear death? I hate it. I hate it. I really do.
Yeah.
Like, I hate for all these developers and all the people that are excited for it. But like, guys, I feel like we like me and you call this kind of stuff, and then people get angry because they're excited for it. It's like, please, like, look at it. Look at it.
Please see the writing on the wall, please.
Yeah, and like I hate it because like there are cool ideas with Skull and Bones.
Yeah,
but nothing ever felt solid about it.
No.
They never had their sea legs. So like this is clearly
Scurvy's running rampant on this game.
Yeah. And for Ubisoft to hand over money, Ubisoft doesn't like to give money back.
No.
That is huge in telling there's something big and bad going on here, and we will not see this happen. They don't want a Cyberpunk on their hands because guess what? It won't be called a Cyberpunk anymore. They'll be called a Skull and Bones.
Yeah. And, in which case, CD Projekt Red would rejoice. It's like, finally, something worse than us.
Exactly. So, with all the stuff going on at Ubisoft, I think they're seeing, hey, it's better to cut our losses right here. I know this has been going on forever, but they cannot afford to have a flop.
Yeah.
Especially with everything going on, people leaving. Yves, that dude, we didn't talk about it last week, but his whole
figure it out on yourself, or it's like it's up to you to get it to pretty much figure it out. It's like, dude, why would you say that?
And then his apology of like, I didn't mean to say it, but it's true. You know what I mean?
It was a backhanded apology. It's like, I didn't mean to put it this way, but I meant it this way.
Yeah. So it's sad, to see another game kind of go the way of the dodo, and
because I remember like when E3, because that was around the same time Sea of Thieves was getting hot and heavy with previews, and I'm like, this looks much better than Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Even my boss at the time was like, I'm looking forward to this more than Sea of Thieves, and then it came out like a year or two later, and it showed like a different trailer, and you could already, knowing what we know now, you could have saw that as the first writing on the wall that they were like, when it changed from just the ship combat to like, all right, but we're gonna have people in this too. It's like, okay, seems like you're trying to pivot too much to appease your fan base, and look what they are several years later.
Yeah. Yeah. They never landed on it. And, you know, we're going to move to the next topic. A
Yeah.
company that never really learned how to listen to the fan base and fully understood the IP. 343 Industry says it will develop Halo games now and into the future following layoffs.
So, despite what some may have heard, fans of the Halo franchise can rest assured that 343 Industries will continue to produce new and exciting Halo games after the release of Halo Infinite. Last week, Microsoft's $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard brutally resulted in the termination of 10,000 employees. Further disheartening news came when Joseph Staten, departing 343 Industries, he had joined just last year to steer Halo Infinite towards completion. Despite these events giving off a gloomy atmosphere for Halo Infinite and 343, presently there is no confirmation that this tragedy will affect the course towards finishing the game. Following the release of a report, rumors circulated that 343 would no longer be developing Halo titles and instead take on more of an overseer role. In response to this speculation, Pierre Hintz, however you pronounce it, head of the studio, swiftly denied these claims via Twitter. Quote, Halo and Master Chief are here to stay. 343 will remain at the helm with ongoing development for Halo, which includes captivating storylines, multiplayer features, plus all else that makes it so remarkable, end quote.
All right. Second prediction from last year, our end of the year show, what would happen in 2023. I said that Halo would, pretty much nosedive.
Yeah.
With, Microsoft, they laid off 10,000 employees. That's not just the gaming division side of stuff. That's, other Microsoft employees and all of that. They've got stores, they've got, developers, all that kind of stuff for the computer side of things as well, sales and all that kind of stuff. But 343 Industries, Bethesda, and even I think some of the coalition had layoffs within their development teams and everything. But 343 is one that definitely got hit hard. Statham, him going back to Xbox overall, his role before going to Halo was to help launch games and all of that kind of stuff. But my reasoning for this, and Nate says it only dies if you lose hope. If you enjoy a game you play, yeah, I agree. I enjoy Halo, but when it is presented as a live service, when it is presented as a ever evolving, always new features, always new armor, all of these things that a live service is supposed to be, then you need to be a live service developer. 343 was not a live service developer.
Nope.
And they've had a track record of launching games that just don't work completely. Look at a Master Chief Collection. They struggled with that for a while. Halo 5, Halo 4 was anyway. There are a lot of things here that I talked about this on Tuesday show. Ryan McCaffrey tweeted out. I'm gonna just read a little bit of this. Ryan McCaffrey over at IGN, big Xbox coverage side of things.
Arguably the face for Xbox on IGN.
Yeah. He said some things, but he said if 343 is going to be on repair, and no, I'm not rooting for that, the best path forward is to hand multiplayer to Max Hoberman and certain affinity. Max is the genius behind Halo 2's multiplayer lobby, hopper, matchmaking system, not to mention super talented game designer. He was the multiplayer lead on Halo 2 and Halo 3. Dude helped build Halo and gets multiplayer design from a gameplay, UI, and systems perspective. Give him the keys. Halo, above all else, needs stability. Max and certain affinity can provide that on the multiplayer side of things for Infinite while the future gets sorted. I don't think if the next proper Halo game ends up not being made by 343, emphasis if, then it might be time for a reboot. Normally, I'm the last guy to advocate for a reboot, but 6 mainline story games over 20 years, a fresh start might be needed. Note that I'm not digging 343 grave here. I'm a fan. I gave Halo 4 a 9.8, Halo Infinite campaign a 9. 343 has been a net positive in his opinion. But the big thing is multiplayer live services. Studio management was shaken up several times. Bonnie Ross leaving, and now what's going on now. Joe Staten going back, and then big layoffs, and it's concerning because like there are still things that from the beginning of Halo Infinite are still there. And only getting like 2 new maps after like over a year being out. Only getting 2 new maps, and they're Forge maps. Like they're not like full, the team built them. They built them through Forge and everything. And it's concerning, especially when they lay everybody off.
Because that means it's like, all right, now the dim hope that you had in the beginning is now dwindling even faster.
Yeah, and also like the way Microsoft works, they'll hire a lot of independent contractors, and after 9 months, they'll let them go so they don't have to pay all these benefits. And then they'll let them sit for a few months, and they will hire them back, so they don't have to pay benefits. And it's not a great way of running a studio because there's no consistency. And I agree to Nate's point. Bonnie and Ross leaving has helped overall, but having it gutted, having, who's left there, what roles are left there? Is it just the multiplayer people they left? I don't know. If it is, then okay, well, maybe they can just focus on that. I would love to see more campaign from Halo Infinite, because like they built this beautiful world, this ring world that could literally be used in so many different ways. But you have to have the team behind it to actually do it, and now they don't have that.
And plus you got to have the person that has the vision to instill that into the team, to be able to have them help them create that world that you want to put out there for people to enjoy.
Yeah, and nothing wrong with Pierre. I don't know him from Adam, but it's like he's got a forest fire on his hands.
That's putting it mildly.
Yeah. And it's like all he's got is matches. Matches and gasoline. So
I was about to say, I think he has gasoline more than matches.
So my hope, okay, I know I'm looking at it and it's like, this looks dire. This looks bad. My hope is they can right the ship. My hope is that we can see Halo, go in the right direction, because Halo Infinite is the strongest that 343 has done.
Yeah, for sure.
Can it be fixed after this? I don't know. Season 3 is supposed to happen still. We'll see. After that,
there's the tease at the end of the campaign.
Yeah. So I don't know. Let me know, guys. What do you think? Do you think Halo's done? Because Halo just keeps slipping down on the most played list. You look at the Twitch directory and all of that, it's so far down. There's like hardly anybody watching anymore, hardly anybody playing it on streams and all of that. And it's like, I'm glad that HCS is like going to happen next year, but it might be the last season of Halo for a while. But let's talk about some positive Xbox news, because everything's not bad. Everything's not bad because Xbox and Bethesda. Yeah, it is. Xbox and Bethesda Developer had a direct, and they had some announcements. And I watched it live, and I thought it was pretty good. It was not one of those ones where it's like you can just like talk. It was like sizzle reels and all of that. It was the developers talking about the game. It felt like we got more out of it, more information out of each game, which I liked. It was different than your normal, like your state of play or your directs and all of that.
We don't need like Ubisoft, where they like the Steep presentation, where they go into like a 30-minute deep dive into every mechanic and scenery that you see, but a little bit more exposition about the game is helpful.
Yep. And one of the first games that they showed off was Minecraft Legends. Gets an April 18th release date. PvP details were revealed.
So in its PvP mode, this game immerses players into the same procedurally generated worlds that are featured in the single-player campaign. There is a multitude of strategies available to gamers during PvP battles, including base construction, recruiting mobs for support, and utilizing redstone to defeat enemy teams. And we have a video.
As we slowly get there. There we go. All right, here we go. Here is Minecraft Legends official gameplay. I'm not sharing any of this with you, Derek.
Oh, I was just about to say, okay, I'll just leave it be.
I'm just gonna make it work.
There we go. All right.
You know, it'd be easier if you moved to Florida.
I'll be there in a few weeks.
All right. Here we go, guys. Let's check out this Minecraft Legends gameplay. Gotta watch out for the piggies. That's why we kick them.
Especially they got maces, man. It's like, nah, leave me alone. Where the creepers at, though? There's zombies. And there's the creepers.
Yeah, you can play up to like 4 people.
Yeah. Aw.
And it's coming everywhere, of course.
Yeah.
It's coming everywhere.
So what does this do for your radar, Zach? Because, you know, when Minecraft first came out, it was like one of those, you know, building games where there wasn't really any kind of story. Then Minecraft Dungeons comes out and it invokes Diablo, and it does really well. It's critically received really well. Yeah. They added some new DLC over time, you know, for the first year of its release. Now they're doing a third iteration of Minecraft that is like almost melding the two games together. Does this do anything for you?
Well, like watching the developer direct, this is an RTS. Like the trailer really doesn't like show that. Like watching the direct and everything, it was like, okay, we're building up our forts and everything. We're gathering resources. We're recruiting people to fight, and you have to go and you fight the other team and destroy their like tower or whatever, and then you win. And there's like the pigs or whatever. I don't know what they're called. I'm not a Minecraft player by any means, but like they're like the big bads or whatever. But the PvP side of it is like you can have like up to 4 people on a team, and then the other team could have 4 people as well. The pigs are also an enemy type that can attack both of y'all. So like it keeps you on your toes and everything, and you can play several different roles. Like you can be the gatherer, you can be the builder and everything. And they were showing some of the forts that they were building, and they were really, really cool. That interested me more than any Minecraft has ever interested me, because I love RTS and everything, and like tower defense stuff is always really fun as well. But the trailer doesn't do it justice, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But you know, I think Minecraft is such a huge game. I think, you know, it's like it's the biggest game I think Microsoft has ever had. Because you look at like Twitch directory, it's always up top. That and just chatting, like it's always like in the top 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But Dungeons, it's like, okay, we took the idea of Diablo and everything, but it was like a smaller sect of people from that. It was more niche down. This seems like it's even more of a niche than Diablo would be for that So I'm curious, like, how well this will do. I think Minecraft players will jump on it wholeheartedly.
Oh yeah.
But like you look at Dungeons, it's not getting supported as much now. Like it's kind of done and everything. So it's like, what are the legs on this going to be?
Yeah. So, I mean, again, Game Pass, so it's gonna have even more accessibility for it for people who have
Yeah.
that. But yeah, like what is the terms? Because Dungeons came out, and like I said, they did some DLC for it within the first year of it being released. But then now it's done, and now
Mm,
you don't really hear people talk about it anymore. So it's like, will they only support it for a year? Now with RTS, you can do like different expansions, different campaigns. Like they could really invoke Age of Empires,
mhm.
you know, in this game. But it's like, will people support that, and will the developers be in what's the word I'm looking for? Encouraged to want to keep like players
Going
coming
on.
in or getting people to buy into their game.
Yeah. And one thing that is cool is like every map, like every time you play, is procedurally generated. So it's
Yeah.
like every game is not going to just be the same.
Yeah,
Um,
Dungeons did that too.
yeah. So only time will tell. I hope it does well. I really do.
Yeah.
Because like I think it looks cool. And I think, for me, this is the most I would be like interested in
Yeah.
one of these games. But
I
some
mean, I was
good.
gonna say, if nothing else, it'll just feed into the money printer that is base Minecraft.
Very, very true. But there's another game that got shown at the
Yeah.
Developer Direct from Tango Gameworks. This game called HiFi Rush. It's a rhythm action game, and this was the crazy thing. It's
Yeah.
out literally right now. They like
Yeah.
Ghost like launched this thing like a Beyonce album,
Yeah.
and like this game looks cool. So let's check out this trailer, Derek.
All right. Boom.
Yep, that's me. And you're probably wondering how I ended up here. Well, it's pretty standard. Check this out. Music player in my chest. It's powering up
All right.
my new robot arm. Whoa. It's making everything sync up with the beat. Let's rock.
I wonder if he's got the Zune.
Vandalay technology.
Oh,
The Microsoft
You're
Zune.
after all of us.
but does it have Awesome Mix Volume 1 and 2?
What in the hell am I looking at?
The name's Chai, not Defect.
Is this the guy?
We'll take down this
It reminds me a lot of
one
like
boss at a time.
Scott Pilgrim and
Yeah.
Just so
Sunset Overdrive. Yeah.
I'm here, baby.
I like the different like perspective things.
Yeah. That's very near Autonoma.
You got like different companions and everything.
Oh, hold on, did you just feel that? That beat?
Yeah, I was saying, I'm feeling the flow.
Ready for more?
profession, rock star.
Future rockstar.
That's important. Not there yet.
Got to work on it. We got to work on it. So Derek, what do you
Yeah.
think? What do you think about Hi-Fi Rush?
I like it. I'm definitely, again, Game Pass, so it's definitely something you could easily try out. But yeah, I was thoroughly impressed with that showing, like especially with it being out now. Now, how we've seen before trailers versus when the game actually comes out,
Mhm.
two different things. But so far, this trailer has impressed me for being the first time at first blush, the first time we've seen it.
Yeah, and like when I saw it, it was like, okay, this feels like Metal Hellsinger, Scott Pilgrim, and Sunset Overdrive, like all meshed into one. And like, it looks kind of, campy, kind of, poppy in the like graphics and all of that cell shaded stuff. But like it looks fun. It looks like it could be a fun little experience. It's a $30 game if you buy it outright. So like perfect price point for something like this. And if you got Game Pass, it's totally free. And from all the people that have already started playing it, they're saying that they love it. And the way the combat works is like, you can press the buttons and all that kind of stuff, and the music will go with you. Or if you time it, like you actually time it out and everything, like it's more powerful. It's kind of like Arkham Asylum. Like you could you could like press the mess out of like the punch button and everything on Arkham, or you could feel the rhythm that Batman would actually go to, and the punches would be more powerful and everything. Same kind of deal here. And like it's interesting, we're seeing a lot more rhythm games coming into play and everything. Like this one, Metal Hellsinger, Rocksmith came back as well. Maybe we'll get an Amplitude too. I played a little bit of that on Tuesday's stream.
Oh wow, that's a throwback. It's also ironic because I was just thinking about that as you were discussing this. I'm like, what was that other game called that was like a crowdfunded one, Amplitude? So
I don't know if it was crowdfunded, but it is interesting that the Evil Within people made this game.
That's what I was going to address too. It's like, man, you talking about like the people who did like Evil Within 2, and Ghostwire Tokyo, and they put out this random thing. It's like, man, you would never have guessed it's by the same studio.
Yeah, exactly. And Nathan's, he's like, man, and I don't know if this is going to be for everybody.
Oh yeah.
If you're looking for some like a quick game, something to just kind of cleanse the palate, like if you're just coming off of God of War Ragnarok, let's say, and you want a little cleanser before play something else. This is this is their happiness within.
That's a good point.
I like it. I love it. Let's move on. Forza Motorsports was also shown. Gameplay and details were revealed, and Turn 10 Studios they had a pretty good showing, Derek. I'm not even gonna lie.
So at Turn 10 Studios, we got a sneak peek from the upcoming Forza Motorsport. The game is expected to launch in 2023 and will offer 5 new locations as well as 15 returning favorites for players to race on. With mesmerizing visuals running at 4K 60 FPS with ray tracing and over 500 cars, including 100 brand new ones, this installment of Forza Motorsport promises an immersive gaming experience like no other. I'm sure it had an impressive, Forza, especially Motorsport, has always had a great showing. My thing is, and we kind of talked about it when they first announced this, when we covered it like 2 weeks ago, we need dates. And, as we get into, we got a couple more to cover, but this is the only one not to get a date. And it's like, okay, Starfield's going to have their own thing, because people were like, when this first got announced, what about Starfield? And it's like, it's coming later. And people were like, or we're going to talk about it in the coming weeks after. And people were like, oh, it's going to get delayed. Well, now you raise questions of, is Forza Motorsport going to hit that 6-month window, or that 12-month window that Microsoft talked about last June? It could sneak launch like late April. Because there's another game on here that's coming, that's already staked its claim in May. There's still some dates in March, but I feel like they're going to be pushing it too close to the vest, and I feel like if it is going to be March, they would have already said it. But yeah, go ahead. What did you see?
Like the amount of care and detail in this game is amazing, and like Forza is always great about that, but the things that they've done in this one were quite impressive. Like the crowd is all like actually like it's not just like the same person over and over, the same 5 people over and over. One of the tracks had like 30,000 people, and they're all like real people and all that, not real people, but you know what I'm talking about. Looked great. And then the weather system, like it can like it's not just like, oh well, this is a night race and it's going to rain. Like it will change all the time. If you change something on your car, the sound of your car will vary. Like it just doesn't like this is a Mustang GT. This is what it sounds like. It's like if you put a different exhaust system, if you put like a different kind of carburetor or whatever on there, it's going to change the sound. It's going to change the handling, and each track handles different and everything, but each lap, because like this is like, a lot of games like racing games, it's like every lap, it's like there might be a little variations depending on who you're racing against, but it's like how your tires are wearing, like how hot is the asphalt, like all these different things like come into play, and like they've really meticulously went over this. So I used to be a huge race kind of guy and all of that, loved all the Gran Turismos back in the day, but this one looks really, really cool. So I can't wait to see what Turn 10 does. I think, Derek, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna make a prediction here. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
This will come out in the fall.
Okay. Yeah, it's always been a fall game. So, and I mean, let me make this clear. Like, the people will be like, oh, well, they said next 12 months. All right. Developers have to change just have to change gears all the time. Get over it. Like, as long as they're not doing what Ubisoft, they're learning from Ubisoft, right? Don't put a date on it and then delay it 10 million times, because you're going to get more upset about that than the fact that it got delayed out of a broad 1 year window.
Yeah, we got to always be able to change them gears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Nathan, modern cars do have carburetors and blinker fluid and a hyper detonator pump. You just got to look for them hard enough and believe, just like the people over at the new Elder Scrolls Online chapter has been revealed. And this game, when it first came out, Derek, I was like, this ain't going to go anywhere. This is going to die pretty quick. But my God, this behemoth just keeps going and going.
And going and going. Get a glimpse at the newest character class in Elder Scrolls Online, the Arcanist, and learn about its next big content update titled Necrom. Adventure back to Morrowind for an unforgettable journey with Xbox's limited time offer of free access to all 20 chapters and DLC as long as you have purchased the base game.
Paris Lily, I was watching him and Snowbike Mike over at Kind of Funny watch this. He's like, this is the divorce package. This is like he's like, if you want to get divorced, you start playing this game because you ain't gonna have time for your wife.
No, that's a very Paris thing to say, and I'm happy for it.
Like, I love that they're giving all these add-ons. Man, they showed them, and I was like, man, this game has so much stuff in there.
Yeah.
But going back to Morrowind, that was one of the first games that came to console was Morrowind, because the other two were just PC exclusive and everything. So being able to go back to one of the locations in Morrowind is going to be really, really cool. But I think this is a way to get new players in, so they get to experience more of the game and everything. But if you're this is the divorce package. If y'all want that one, you go ahead. But speaking of divorce, there's blood in the water when that happens. And Redfall got an extended gameplay showcase and a release date, which I'm glad we finally got a release date and everything. And this game, I feel like it still is having some issues with its messaging and everything, but the gameplay that they showed was really, really cool. So let's jump into this, Derek.
Get ready to sink your teeth into Redfall, the exhilarating co-op vampire shooter from Arcane and Bethesda. Mark your calendars for May 2nd. The official release date has finally arrived. We've been gifted with an extended gameplay preview so you can get a taste of just how dynamic combat situations are in this game, thanks to Arcane's signature level design, giving players multiple options on their approach. We will not show the trailer because it is not family friendly. And how about this? There's some stuff we're okay with showing that pushes the envelope over what we're comfortable with. So check it out on your own.
Just to go off of this, like, of course, if you're getting this, know what you're getting into and everything. But the island is much larger than we've thought. It is almost open world, like it's that large. The combat is a mix of like Borderlands and Left 4 Dead. But they showed the skill tree, and my lord, the skill tree for each character is absolutely huge, dude.
Wow.
And the skills for each one of them are very interesting, from like spells to like using technology and just different things. One's got like a stealth kind of skill set and everything. Like each character feels very individualized, and I think that's why they were trying to say, no, it's more like Destiny, in that where like the Titan would feel like one way, the Hunter would feel like another, and the Wizard would feel like or the Warlock would feel another way. It's definitely like, you can look at that skill tree, it's like this could take a lot of time, and like having the multiplayer side of it is going to be, you know, kind of that component and everything. And then, you know, it's very arcane-y. It's like the environments are just as important as the enemies that you're fighting and everything. And that's always been Arcane's you know, kind of way of designing stuff. You look at Prey, you look at Dishonored. The game looks great though, you know, but it is, you know, it's a vampire game. You know, it's not holding any punches on that. So but yeah, it looked really solid, but I still feel like they're struggling with messaging on the overall game and everything. So,
well, now that they got the release date out, they'll probably start ramping up promotional items and more trailers, so they should be able to iron that out in the coming months.
Yeah, and I think once people get their hands on it, like industry wise, like being able to like define it more will help.
Right.
But let's move into the PlayStation news. Speaking of a game that had a lot of issues of defining what it is and messaging and everything, Forspoken's original pitch / plan reportedly unrecognizable in the product as it is now.
And again, I say I'm glad I did not spend my money on it day one. Donaldson divulged that he was made aware of numerous facets about the game, including how it underwent a drastic metamorphosis during production. According to what people have said, what was originally pitched and planned is unrecognizable in its current state. While this is something we often see in development stages with several games, Forspoken appears to be an especially extreme scenario where there were tremendous changes throughout the process. Obviously they didn't divulge into it. I'm sure in the months and probably year or so, you know, to come, we'll get more and more details, tidbits here and there of what changed. Because you know, with the unmentionable game stuff that changed, we've seen it, like Cyberpunk, things that changed drastically. Dying Light 2, we reported on that for what felt like a month and a half about how all the changes and whatnot. And how the game developer of that studio was just like, had like ADHD and was like, oh, I want this, and it's like, calm down.
Yeah.
So Forspoken, it, you know, and we saw it from the beginning, like there was always something, and I know people have shown videos about the dialogue and how, you know, like it's very cringe, and some people say it's not as bad. Like everyone has different interpretations of, you know, how lines are spoken and, you know, interpreted and whatnot, obviously, but
yeah.
I said this at I think our end of the year show, or like sometime toward the end of the year, right? Or maybe it was our first show this year. Forspoken worried me in the sense of how the story was going to be, because girl gets transported, like it's like the classical isekai anime genre, like you get transported to another world and now you have to find your sea legs and figure out what's happening, why you're here, yada yada yada. The combat always looked cool. Like I had never had a qualm, you know, about the combat and the traversal and all that. It was always the story, the character interactions and whatnot. Because it's like having that sentient bangle or whatever, you know, the wristband bracelet, or whatever. It's like, okay, it's not giving me very. Why should I care? Yeah. And it seems like that is carried over into the full launch, because, you know, everyone said, oh, the demo's bad, and we just kind of chalked it up to, oh, Square Enix has made bad demos before. Let's wait till the full launch. And then it got closer to release, and people were saying, who got preview copies, were like, yeah, it's not much better than the demo. And I'm like, oh boy, okay, no bueno.
Yeah, and like I watched Kind of Funny's coverage of it, review of it and everything, and Greg kind of summed it up. It's like, this feels like a game for like a teenager, in the fact it's like, the awkwardness of it. And he's like, but you turn around and she's dropping, language left and right. And he's like, and then it's like, I don't know who this game is really for. And they gave it a 2.
Yeah, out of 5.
Out of 5. And it was like, that's pretty bad. And then, like, a lot of people, aren't enjoying it. Which I was listening to Giant Bomb on the way home, and Jan, one of the guys that is on there, he was saying, he was like, I've been playing it. He's like, and I'm actually kind of turning around on it. He's like, I'm starting to enjoy it a little bit more. So I don't think you go into this for the story. That's all I'm saying. I think you're going to get a pretty repetitive game. Andy talked about it. Cortez, he was like, it's like, it feels like a game that was from like 10 years ago with a really cool traversal system now. So yeah,
I'll buy it on sale.
Derek's going to buy it on sale, and then he's never going to play it, guys, because that's how Derek does things.
Leave me alone. Don't come for me.
I will like a clicker.
Oh, I see what you did there. Well played, sir.
The Last of Us Part 3 is not guaranteed, as Naughty Dog says it is up to us whether we want to continue it or not.
And by us, he means obviously Naughty Dog, not us, the fans. After months of speculating, Naughty Dog has recently shared that they are open to the potential of creating The Last of Us Part 3 if there is a story worth telling. In an interview with BuzzFeed, Neil Druckmann stated that nothing about this project was set in stone yet, and it all relies on what worthwhile tale could be told through the game. This announcement leaves us optimistic for another installment from one of gaming's most acclaimed franchises. Do you ever wonder whether The Last of Us Part 3 will come to fruition? Well, the good news is that Naughty Dog has a privilege that not many other studios have. We are under Sony's wing. They fund our productions and provide us with unwavering support. They own us. As for what will happen next in this franchise, only time can tell. If we are able to generate a meaningful, relatable story about love, much like we accomplished in parts 1 and 2, then that will be our focus for part 3. However, if an idea does not present itself organically, the ending of part 2 is satisfying enough to conclude with. And I've seen people, I think it was Devin, when I posted this article this morning, that he said he would like to see, like, now maybe not for a part 3, but like if they ever wanted to tell more stories, because, especially now that the HBO show is out, like we're 2 episodes in, I'm loving it. And we're seeing from the show, because Neil's actually helped like co-producing the show as well. They're expanding on some of like the lore and the backstory of, some of the stuff that's happening in the game, from the first game. And that, that's sparking more and more ideas of like, well, we have this 20-year gap from when the outbreak starts to where we see Joel then at that point. So it's like, and we hear tales of like how Joel was like not a good person and he did that. So what happened in that 20-year gap? Like seeing stories from that, like, so maybe not a part 3. Like, I don't think you could call it a part 3 and it be like an interquel, you know what I mean? Between 1 and 2. Or like between, where 1 is. But I would like to see like a spin-off of that idea of like what just happened. I mean, even if we get it as like an extra season of the HBO show, I would still like to see that kind of fleshed out more.
Yeah, and Dan said this several times anytime we bring up Last of Us 3. He's like, I don't see how they can continue on after part 2. I haven't played part 2. I need to get to it. But you look at the show, I'm like 20 minutes from the end of the second episode, but the way that they are laying the groundwork, like the beginning of the first episode where they're having that interview, does such an amazing job of like laying out, this is what this is, it's not, and like a bite that, whatever it is, like normal zombie stuff, this is a fungus. And then like you see episode 2, the way it opens and everything, and like it's doing such a good job of building the world, like these are the reasons why this happened, this, like, all of these things happen and all of this kind of stuff. So like they're doing a great job of storytelling that way. You could also not tell anything with Joel and Ellie. Like you could literally like go somewhere else. You could have us play with the people that found the fireflies. Why did they
Yeah.
do it? Like you could do a whole thing on that side of things. And I think, you know, the game that we're going to be getting, like the kind of multiplayer, we're going to get like Firefly versus, you know, Fedra and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
like, it would be cool to see like who founded them. What was the turning point where it was like, I've got to fight back for our freedom, that sort of deal. I think it would be a cool story to tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think, you know, with The Last of Us and everything, it's Naughty Dog is in such a great place where they don't have to make a game just to make a game. They're in the perfect place where they get to just tell the best story that they possibly can. And you know, you look at them, you look at Insomniac and Santa Monica, like those three studios right there just get to do what they want to do because they've proven themselves. So
yes,
I'm very excited about it, and I can't wait for more of those things. I just want to take real quick comment in the chat and everything. Nate says, I wish we could get more clean games with good story, like Jedi Fallen Order. Too many games are just full of filth nowadays. And I 100% agree, man. It is hard to like even play on stream and like games because of language, because of gore, because of you know, just several different things. Like I could never play Last of Us on stream.
No, by no means.
You know, especially 2. Like 2's even worse. You know, Brock, that unfortunate time that Brock jumped on the NerdCave stream.
Yeah.
You know, and was talking about Fimbulwinter and everything.
Yeah.
Like there are games that are great and everything, but at least give people the option to, you know, hear what they want to hear. Yeah. Like one of the games that I tout so much because of that is Gears of War 5. They gave you the option to turn off gore. They also gave you the option to take away foul language.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like what people consider foul language is different.
Some
to
words will slip in there, but like the extreme.
Yeah. And it was like, okay, that's awesome. And then like Ghost of Tsushima didn't have any bad words in the whole game from what I remember. And you were able to turn off the gore as well. You know, you just avoid those hot springs or close your eyes when you get there. But yeah, like I think it's like with gaming these days, and I want to hear your thought on it. It's like, like people are putting their artistic visions out there and everything, which I don't, you know, have a problem with that, but it's like, give people the option if they don't want to hear or see certain things.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. Definitely give more options because, and I'm just gonna throw this out here too, right? It's like with accessibility, right? Like they want.
I was literally about to bring accessibility up.
Yeah, accessibility is becoming more of a thing year over year. We're seeing more of it. We're seeing more people involved with it. We're seeing more options than when it first started being a thing. Why not have the option to turn language off? Like, yes, it's not an accessibility feature, you know, per se, but it's still like if you're going to give people options, like, because I'm sure there are people who don't have accessibility issues that would love, like, are still wanting to, that still mess with the filters just to see, like, oh, what's this cool design like? Because maybe they're wanting to get into game design. It's like, all right, well, how did they do this, or how are they working with this, so on. So why not, if you're going to give the options out there, why not give the option to do that? Because it used to be popular and now it's not. Like, I get it, especially like because. And I'm not saying this is right or wrong. Well, actually, no, I'm not saying this is right. I'm not defending this, but you know, part of it is just like there are parents out there who buy Grand Theft Auto for their 10-year-olds and they don't care. And maybe the game developers are like, well, if they don't care, why should we? But you should still have that option for the parents, for the other households who do care, who want to not see their 10-year-olds do this. You know, I remember. I had to convince one of my friends from high school back in the day, had to convince my parents because they were ultra strict on, like, they didn't care what it had in it. If they saw, when I started playing games, they're like, oh, this is rated M for mature, it's only for 17 and up, you're not playing it. And Halo 2 came out, and it is the tamest rated M game you could ever see. And I had to have him convince my parents to let me play it, and they still kind of gave me leery-eyed and were just like, yeah, but if we see on something on there we don't like, we're taking it back. I'm like, okay.
Joke's on you. You don't get to take games back anymore.
I know. Hey,
But
no, in the refund ramifications, if I only play 2 hours of the game, within the first 2 weeks of release, I can get a refund.
yeah, and to the point, like accessibility and everything, it's like if a developer is willing to do that, you're going to be able to reach more people. You're
Yeah.
going to be able to, it's like, hey, we have this feature. It, like, some people would think, oh, they're censoring it. It's like, no, it's
Mhm.
like, if you think about it, it's like, okay, some people are comfortable with seeing certain things. Some
Yeah.
people are not comfortable hearing certain things or certain acts or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, if you like, I literally played all of Ghost of Tsushima without blood on.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing, I played with no blood on, and I was fine. I love that game. Played it for 2 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was like that option was there, and that was something that I exercised. It was something that I was
Yeah.
glad that I was given and everything. And I wish and I hope anyone that's listening to this that's in game development, please add more of this, and that all that good stuff. And to Nate's point, nowadays kids will cut you out in chat. That was the same way we were. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I'm about to
kids
say,
would
and
hadn't
that's a whole
changed.
nother issue.
That hadn't changed.
Well, and just one more, just to put a pin in this, like one, and like, or at least from my end, one more thing, and we'll leave it be. It's like, when I used to work at the other place, right? The Seventh Circle of Hades. It would be like, especially as games came out, like especially like from when the PS4 and Xbox One generation was out, right? It became harder and harder to recommend more games to parents of kids, because it's like, all right, because you only had sports, Lego games, some fighting games that weren't Mortal Kombat, and then like maybe a couple other games like Little Big Planet or Nintendo. Like Nintendo games were easy to pitch, but if you were on Sony or Microsoft, became, especially Microsoft, it became harder to recommend stuff, because they would only have a select option, and once they played all those games or got tired of those games, it's like, well, what else is there to play? And then that goes into Call of Duty, Gears of War, God of War, stuff that's a little bit more mature and has some more other themes in there. And it's like, it's hard to recommend that to parents. Like, of course I tell them up front, I don't hide it from them before I sell it to them, but it's harder to give parents ideas that if they're not okay with it. And it's like, again, like, Gear, like you said, Gears of War 5, like it was easier to pitch that because it had the ability to turn that off. Ghost, it was easier to pitch because it turned that off. But it's like, if not, those are only a select few games. If not everyone has it, you can't pitch those games to them, especially if those parents don't want their children to see that.
Yeah, definitely. So, interesting conversation. Thank you, Nate, for bringing it up, because it's something that needs to be talked about. You know what else needs to be talked about, Derek? Them PlayStation quickies.
So, starting off, there's a rumor, new PS5 model to go on sale in September, but it may not actually be a PS5 Pro or Slim model. We didn't talk about it last week. It was going to be on the news topics, but there's a rumor that there's going to be a detachable disc drive PS5. If it's true, that may be what they're talking about. We'll keep you posted. Tom Henderson says that he's heard more about PS6 than a PS5 Pro. Microsoft subpoenas Sony in lawsuit with the FTC. PlayStation VR 2 launch window features over 30 games, including 13 newly announced titles. However, Dark Pictures Switchback VR has been delayed to March 16th. Walking Dead Saints and Sinners to get a free PSVR 2 upgrade. Bluepoint Games is working hard on a new project, and reveal will come, quote, when the time is right. Bungie is seemingly working on an unannounced live service game, according to new job ads. Excuse me. Marvel Spider-Man 2 PS5 developer is confident of 2023 release window, says Yuri Lowenthal, who is the voice of Spider-Man and will be at Pizzacon. The Last of Us show sends sales of Last of Us Part 1 and Last of Us Remastered through the roof. The Last of Us HBO show has the biggest audience increase for a drama between episode 1 and 2 in HBO history. Last of Us 2 is, quote, Last of Us Season 2 is, quote, likely, says Bella Ramsey, the actress who plays Ellie. Naughty Dog describes itself as having, quote, moved on from Uncharted. And The Last of Us originally had players start off as Joel instead of Sarah.
Why you got to do that to Nathan Drake? Why you got to do that, Naughty
I
Dog?
know.
You're getting too big for your britches, just like when you did that to Crash.
I know.
You love them and
I
you
know.
leave them.
It's like dance with the one who brought you here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, exciting stuff in there, definitely, Derek. Last of Us TV show, enjoying it a ton. Talked a little bit about earlier. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
It's real good.
But Derek, we got one last hurdle, and then we got something cool to look at as well. But let's get into them quick hits.
All right, starting off, Marvel's Midnight Suns' first upcoming DLC gets a new trailer as Deadpool prepares to join the team. Apex Legends' new Celestial Sunrise Collection event revealed, and new Battle Royale mode incoming. Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin Different Future DLC launches tomorrow. EA Sports PGA Tour arrives March 24th. Riot Games lays off 46 as wave of industry job cuts continue. Game developers aren't sold on the metaverse, Obsidian CEO says he'd love to make another Fallout before he retires. New Tomb Raider game reportedly going to be revealed this year. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty is CD Projekt Red's biggest budget expansion to date. WWE 2K23 release date set for March 17th or March 14th if you buy the deluxe or icon editions. And John Cena is confirmed to be the cover star for all editions. So it's going to be a blank cover. Got it. BioWare waves goodbye to Mass Effect veteran Mark Walters after nearly 20 years. Respawn's new Star Wars game may include multiplayer, according to job listing. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's hardcore mode arrives in Season 2. Life is Strange 2 comes to Switch on February 2nd. Nintendo is ramping up Switch production ahead of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. NBA All World from Pokemon Go Studio is now available. God of War Ragnarok level designer now working with Amy Hennig on new Marvel game. Star Wars Battlefront 2 creative director hired by Ubisoft as VP of editorial. Fortnite Gaming Legends in series adds Dead Space's Isaac Clarke. Dead Space Remake New Game Plus confirmed for launch and will include a secret ending. The Lord of the Rings Gollum is now launching somewhere between April and September of this year. SteamWorld Build is a city builder coming to consoles and PC this year. Xbox gaming revenue down, but Game Pass subscriber base continues to grow. Xbox confirms it will return to LA for annual summer showcase, not E3. Which a little interesting tidbit. It'll just be their own showcase. GoldenEye 007 comes to Switch Online and Xbox Game Pass tomorrow. Washington Post is closing its launcher, its highly regarded video game website. Hogwarts Legacy will include over 100 side quests to tackle in any order you wish. Also an interesting note, Hogwarts Legacy does not include a morality system, and unforgivable curses can be used without consequences. Atomic Heart has gone gold. Another rumor, a major Elden Ring DLC is on its way. Disney Dreamlight Valley lays out its content roadmap for early 2023. The latest Skate playtest build has reportedly included loot boxes. Bleh. And lastly, Like a Dragon Ishin to feature Kenny Omega and Raul Coley as trooper cards.
It's pretty dope. Pretty dope. The no morality system is a little weird. What do you think about it? Like, I wish they had one in there.
I agree. I agree that having there should be a consequence to casting, like especially an unforgivable curse.
Yeah.
But don't act like you're not going to sit there and just spam it. It's like somebody walks past you's like, I hate your hair. Avada Kedavra.
Oh,
or
yeah.
it's like someone spills paint on your shoes. Crucio. Like don't sit there like you're not going to act like you're activate your inner Death Eater and just spam those religiously.
Oh, trust me, I am. Like there's no doubt about it. Like, I just wish there was like Fable, you'd grow horns, or like different things like Dark Side or whatever. It's like I want people to like scurry in fear.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, now I see where you're coming from. Like, yes, definitely like have that, because I was thinking more of like Infamous, like dark, or if you made more evil choices versus more good choices.
Yeah, like I hope there's like something in that regards where it's like people view you in a different light or whatever. I don't think you'd go to detention because like in the Harry Potter world you would go to Azkaban for
Exactly,
these.
especially if you killed somebody, just
Yeah. So, but yeah, can't wait for Hogwarts Legacy, and it's going to be awesome. But there's a lot of like news, games journalists like sites and everything laying a bunch of people off,
oh yeah.
like Giant Bomb, Launcher, IGN,
Mhm.
G4 closing down last year. Like it's an interesting time.
IGN, like, because I was looking at it because I thought it was literally the day of Game Awards because we didn't talk about it because we were just covering it, but I looked at it later and like Ryan McCaffrey was like ticked off and I was like, oh, did he? And I saw IGN lays off. I'm like, did he get laid off? And it's like, no, he just got the news as he was about to step into the amphitheater for Game Awards. I'm like, man, that's terrible to get that kind of news right before the biggest event in gaming for the year.
Yeah, and it was just poorly timed.
It
you
was.
know what I mean? Like laying off people is bad anytime,
Oh, yeah.
if you can avoid it and everything. But it's like it's just very interesting, especially some of these companies. I'm talking about tech companies where they're making money hand over fist and they're laying people off, like Google, Facebook. They're just like trying to protect their bottom dollar and not lose any money. But we got something cool to talk about and watching all that good stuff. So Derek, let's launch this last segment of the show.
Yeah. This is the coolest thing I saw this week. This is a Zach game if I ever saw one. You want pure chaos? Zach has a game for you.
This reminds me of a PC game
Yeah.
that I used to play.
Maybe it's a spiritual successor.
Maybe. Okay. All right. What made you pick it? What made you pick it? What stood out to you?
Like, well, one, because I was going to pick HiFi Rush, but, we were only going to talk about it in the show.
Yeah.
So I'm just like that. And then just because it's, again, something different, because I saw Oddballers and I'm like, oh, is this going to be like, oh gosh, I just
Knockout
remembered the
City.
EA game. Yeah, Knockout City. And it's like, okay, yes, but it's going to be more wacky, more zany. I'm like, okay, this feels like it has the potential to be a future party game.
Yeah.
Maybe we can cook something a little up on the Thursday I'm going to be down. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll see. Well, there you go, guys. That is the coolest thing Derek saw this week. If you got something cool you want us to show off, let us know. Put it down in the comments below. We'll check it out and see if it's cool enough for Derek, the warrior princess,
Delphina.
There we go. That one too. Guys, we hope that you enjoyed this episode. This has been the Nerd Cave News. We are live each and every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time here on youtube.com/NerdCave Network, where you can get all the video game news that you need to know. Make sure to go over to patreon.com/NerdCave and support us so you get all the cool, awesome videos early, and you can write in and have your question asked on the show. If you've got something that you want asked, you can have it. You get exclusive perks. You get your name called out. You get a little wink from Derek. Wink at him, Derek. Wink at him. This is just for the patrons. So if you're, that was just for you. Okay, wasn't for that other person. All right. But guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for watching. This has been Zach.
And Delafina, Warrior Princess.
Y'all have a blessed week. Bye.